Hey guys, I've been making quite a few videos in the last week and I'm getting a lot of great responses. People who are inquiring, asking questions, which I like because that promotes conversation, but as well people who have some insights. And I always like to hear a whole widespread opinions on these matters because I'm not an expert on anabolics by any means. And I'm somebody who's in the research stage primarily, but as well my own practical use of anabolics. I'm planning to do my first, quote, blast cycle. And I outlined this the other day where I've started with testosterone and I'm working my way up. I just ordered some primobolan, and the logic there is primobolan will kind of counter the estrogen estradiol effects. And as well, I have a lot of Anavar left, so I might put a little bit of Anavar in it. But I want to address a few things. I'll get to that a little bit later. But the one thing I want to address is somebody who brought up Equipoise as being recommended anabolic to take, and that was one of them that I've considered. I haven't looked into it totally as much as I would feel comfortable to do it as of yet, but I want to share what I know about it, and and why I chose not to do it. I'm choosing to take Primobolan at least for this cycle. Maybe in the future I'll do something else. But Equipoise, which is boldenone, which traditionally was used for veterinary use in horses, and it has a lot of, from my understanding, a lot of great anabolic properties and has that potential to counter the estrogen effect as well. From what I've learned from some of the guys that I listen to, Anabolic University, Dr. Todd, and Kurt Havens, as well as others. But I really trust these guys' view because they come with a scientific background. All of them have scientific backgrounds themselves, PhDs and doctors in this, but not just that, they are actual bodybuilders themselves. So they've used all these things. They have the experience, and that kind of experience in bodybuilding. You're not going to get just by doctors or by people like research necessarily. You got the practical use, and what I want when I'm approaching this is a risk versus reward benefit. Okay, well, risk, side effects, reward, the outcome, right? And with any anabolics, there's always a risk. I talked about that in my last video, but with Equipoise specifically, my understanding is there's quite a bit more risks than other anabolics, such as primobolan. But from what I've also heard, the reward is that it's one of the best bulking agents there is. Like next to, I've heard nandrolone, like Deca. But the thing is with Equipoise is it's a long half life, the ester on it, so it takes a while for it to build up, and then subsequently it takes longer for it to leave your system. So if there was ever any side effects and you built it up to that point, you're going to have those lasting side effects potentially for some time. And that's why in my kind of philosophy of it, of this, is to choose the short esters. For example, I was considering taking nandrolone because I have a lot of joint issues from skateboarding and snowboarding, injuries, etc. And that helps build collagen, that helps with joints. Now there's the nandrolone deconate, I believe it's called, Deca, right? That's the long ester version, and then there's the NPP, which is the short ester. If I was to choose nandrolone, I would take the short ester because of just that factor in itself, that it's that the half-life on it is way shorter. So you just take it every few days, and then every 2 days, roughly small amounts, just with your testosterone, and then over time, it's fine. And you stop taking it; it'll leave your system quicker. So that's my general philosophy on that. The other thing about Equipoise is, going back to the side effects, is known to create a lot of more higher blood pressure, which as far as anabolics goes, like that's the one thing to kind of look out for as long-term health effects. You can get a lot of heart issues, cardiovascular issues from that, and The other thing is apparently the hematocrit count, the red blood cell count, is, from my understanding, that goes up as well. And since I'm not taking regular um, blood panels measuring all these things, I plan to do one in the near future. But like, if I was on the ball doing that, then that's something I might want to take. But again, this is going to be stacking on top of substantial dose of testosterone and things. So if I was to do that, I would really want to make sure that all my measurements aren't being negatively affected too much. And I'm not planning to do that. Well, I am, but like not as regularly. Primobolan is relatively safe. That's why I'm taking that first. And I want to go into the next kind of phase of this conversation, which is this guy, Dr. Todd, I forget his last name, but he made a video just the other day on like a ideal kind of cycle to take. And it's one that I'm already had kind of in my mind in place, and it kind of just verified it and through my research and through what other bodybuilders have said has worked well for them. And the major thing is the testosterone base. So I don't plan on going any more on what I'm taking at the moment, which is around 400 milligrams per week. But then I'm adding in primobolan and potentially anavar on small amounts. So once I have that stack and I'm running that much gear, then there's the next level of things. Again, not to get too much into the organic chemistry side of things, but it's important. This is a major factor in this, which is so testosterone builds up your estrogen levels, and then you have like the DHT in your system, and the way that works together in itself. The next thing to add on top of that is the HGH. From again, my understanding, basic one is if you have very low estrogen, you're taking HGH. You're not going to have the great effect from it. Estrogen is essential in the conversion and use of the insulin growth factor 1. I believe it's 1. Is insulin growth factor 2 or 1? But insulin growth factor, which is the thing that actually builds the muscles and builds your body up. So based on that, I want to add on top of that in the next few weeks, get the HGH. So it's just like incremental step towards the bulking phase or towards the blast phase, and then run that for around 12 to 16 weeks. And the HGH on top of that will facilitate the anabolic growth as well that my goals are with the primobolan, which is a low side effect and builds lean muscle. So that's what I'm invested in this. I was torn between primobolan and Masteron, because Masteron as well has more of an anti-estrogenic effect. It was literally made for breast cancer, like to cut down on that estrogens. There's different types of estrogen, but that one's specific. So I was going to take that, and Dr. Todd recommended that one, but I believe primobolan will do the trick, especially in the ratio that I'm doing. Now, I'm not going to do a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to do like a 1 to 0.75 ratio, testosterone to primobolan, and I believe that will significantly cut down on estrogen effects that I'm feeling now. I mentioned in my last video that I titrated up, like brought up my testosterone levels to the point where I felt the estrogen conversion was too much. I got the back knee, potentially beginning stages of gynecomastia. So, but I'm also getting major anabolic effects as well. So it's been great, and I don't believe I've been blasting too much so far. But if you add in the primobolan, you add in the anavar, you add in some HGH, I believe like within 3 months, like the effects will be unreal. So that's where I'm at. The Equipoise, again, just based on the analysis of the properties of that anabolic, all around, I believe that primobolan would be a better choice and or Masteron might be a better choice. Although, and also Nandrolone might, but that's just, it's not based on experience, and it would affect everybody differently. Maybe some people it affect more side effects than others. I know that some of the guys I listen to, some people really like it and some people don't. Some people say never take it. So, I got to, but everybody I've listened to says Primo Bowl and take. So if you can get the real stuff, which I believe I can, and also I'm going to get a test kit for it. I've already tested my testosterone, so if I'm, and it's sure enough 100%. So if I end up doing Primo Bowl and significantly, I'll test that as well next time as well. And if I can afford it, because you know how much GH is, I'll get two kits at least of that to start off and run. I'm thinking just because of affordability, 4 IUs, but maybe 6, 4 to 6, ideally at least 6 for a 3-month period. So that's where I'm at with that. Thank you for watching. Thanks for everybody for your feedback, comments, and questions and support. And leave in the comments if you have any more questions about what I'm doing, or any comments about what I'm doing, if it's a good thing, or what you've done in the past that has worked or what has not worked. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.